G'day guys, Jono Lester here, Laser Tools Ambassador, here with a wrap from the first round of the 2015 Australian GT Championship at the Clipsal 500 in Adelaide. So this was our season start officially, although of course a few weeks before we had the Bathurst 12 hour, which was a fantastic event for us in the sense of really coming of age, starting to get used to this Ferrari and showing our speed against a world-class opposition. So, you know, we had an opportunity to get a heck of a lot of track time, and whilst we didn't finish the race with some overheating problems with the car, it allowed us to really gain some confidence and gain some data to take into the new season. So the season kicked off on the streets of Adelaide for what is probably one of the coolest events in the world, certainly one of the coolest I've ever done as an atmosphere. You got over 200,000 people over 4 or 5 days, scorching heat, an awesome circuit with a real party atmosphere where the entire park surrounding is DJs and parties and drinking and all the sort of stuff you don't really see at motorsport normally, but it really flows well, and everybody's in a really good vibe. It's a great atmosphere to race in, and the crowds are huge, and so to start our season there was fantastic. There's 34 cars for the Australian GT Championship. There was 10 or 12 more who wanted to come along, but such is the popularity of the series, it was oversubscribed. We were in there, Trace Family Motorsport, the sole Kiwi team in the GT3 class, and we were partnered now with Maranello Motorsport for the season, who are basically the top team in Australia for Ferrari. So this was a nice new partnership for us too. We knew we'd be competitive. It was a world-class field, guys from all over the world, but we ended up finishing practice day quickest, and quickest by quite some margin, by about 0.7 of a second, which was great, fantastic, great for confidence, etc., but also a bit of a surprise and a pleasant one for us. So we went into qualifying with a lot of confidence. The car was fantastic, and the only thing we were really lacking at this point in time was laps, basically, especially for my co-driver Paul Kelly, who had a really tough run in the sense that there was a lot of red flags during practice, and he only actually had 5 or 6 laps in the car before we got to qualifying. So I was nominated for qualifying, went out early and went hammer and tong in a battle with Christopher Mies, who's the German factory Audi driver, great guy and very fast driver, and Dean Canto from the supercars, and quite a few other guys in Class A, or Champ Class should I say, who were battling for pole position. Managed to get a couple of really clean laps, great laps, car felt fantastic, and took our first pole position, and the first pole position for Trace Family Motorsport ever. My first for a while too, and qualifying not being a strength of mine, it was pretty cool, it felt pretty awesome. Into the first race, 30 minutes long. I'd complete this race on my own, and we carried into these races the pit stop penalties, which I explained to you guys similarly at the Highlands 101 last year. Basically, the higher you're seated as a driver and the better you qualify, they combine 2 time penalties, and you have to sit in the pits for that duration of time during your pit stop. Now this year for pro drivers have actually doubled that, and it soon became pretty apparent that that has probably gone too far, because it became near impossible for us to actually win a race without the intervention of a safety car. Nevertheless, into race 1, charged out ahead, car was again fantastic on cold tyres, pulled out 3 or 4 seconds on the field. Safety car came out at this point, so waiting for the 10-minute mark where we could start pitting, I ended up passing the pit entry at 9 minutes 58, so 2 seconds later I would have been fine. But watched the whole field stream into pit lane behind me, had to do another lap behind the safety car, and it did cost us some time. To 57 seconds in the pits, doing my stationary penalty, back out there on the charge, and in 6 laps to the finish, managed to pick off 28 cars from 32nd to 4th. Great points for us. Salvaged something out of nothing really at the end of the day, and went into race 2 again knowing we had the fastest car in the field. Paul started this race from 2nd row, did a great job on his first AGT race, stopped right at home, and brought the car in still well inside the top 10 at the halfway mark of the 60-minute race. At this point we had a bit of fun in our pit stop, since it was 114 seconds long. Took a selfie with Paul before I jumped in the car, and that seemed to be pretty well received around the world as well. But when we were back in, it was all jobs on. Starting from 17th as I rejoined, I managed to again car through the field. Car was just amazing, placing it anywhere, and got us up to 3rd at the finish. Australian GT podium, our first for Trace Family Motorsport, my first as a driver for this series, and again just carried on a fantastic weekend. one more race to go. This was Paul's race to complete on his own, and he started from the second row once again in third place. All hopes on to finish first or second or even third for the weekend, and it all came unravelled at turn 1. Paul took the curb at turn 2 quite awkwardly, and as the car landed, pitched right, sent him into a horrible shunt into the wall, bounced back out to traffic, hit about 7 or 8 other cars, and just caused an absolute mess of a blockage of the track and a lengthy red flag. We were in pit lane, really worried Paul's been seriously injured. It's a really fast part of the circuit. Thank God he got out okay, but obviously our car was far less of a healthy state. So you know, it was quite a tense few hours, a couple of days really for us after the event. We came home with a couple of nice trophies for third overall still. Such was the consistency of our weekend, and keeps us right in the hunt for the championship. But we really had to regroup when we got back, and you know, and it's probably the biggest challenge the team's had in its short history. But good news is that rebuild's underway. The Maranello boys, in conjunction with our own at TFM, are hard into the rebuild already. And we will be back for round 2 at Phillip Island at the 101 race at the end of May. So until that time, we've got plenty on the go internally at TFM with some other projects. We've got a 2-seater Formula 1 car that's just arrived, which I'll be taking the reins of for a new hot lap business that we're starting. We've got a new Formula 1 simulator which has arrived too, which is going to be a nice complementary thing to all of the stuff we're doing. But not a lot of driving though in that 3-month period, so you know, I guess I'll be on the simulator and training hard and counting down the 80 odd days until we race again. I'll keep you guys posted with what we're up to on my social media, and make sure you tune in to Laser Tools New Zealand's various platforms as well with little bits and pieces that myself and the other ambassadors are up to. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at Phillip Island in a few weeks' time. Cheers.